We hot?
We got. All right, this is Johnny with JKW Political Consulting on SWOR Radio. Recently, the San Francisco School District, SFUSD. I have to do that again.
That's the meat commercial.
Yeah, that's the meat commercial. All right. Let's start again. This, okay.
Hi there.
Hello.
Lovely one. This is Omar coming at you.
All right. 3, 2, 1. This is Johnny with JKW Political Consulting on SWOR Radio. Recently, the San Francisco School Board voted for a new assignment system. I'm not quite sure I understand what the assignment system is, but the school system in San Francisco has had a long history of interesting assignment systems. In the 70s, it was based on race. I guess their prerogative then, I guess, was court order, was to be more diverse in its schools. And then in the 80s, I think a lot of parents sued because they didn't want race to be used as a factor in determining where their children, where their child went to school. So they came up with a diversity index, which is based on a lot of different factors, including, how much you make, mother's maiden language, everything. Basically, it came down to race without calling it race. And a lot of parents objected to that. So for the last 20-something years, there's just been a fight in the school system. Basically, the school system, the school district versus the parents. Last week, the school board voted for a new assignment system. It's a system based on census tract, which I am not quite sure I understand. It's also incredibly complex. So to help us understand, we have Omar Khalif. He's a public school advocate and a parent of a child who just recently got assigned. Thank you for being on the show, Omar.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for having me.
So tell us, what was the school system like? What was the assignment system like before this change?
The system was before this change. Actually, there's not much of a change at all. It's now they're not moved. They changed the language from diversity to CTIP. So it's pretty much
CTIP is census tract.
Census tract. So it's pretty much the same thing without calling it diversity. Now we'll call it CTIP. But so again, you have parents, again going through this choice system to choose. They went from seven choices to now just any choice that you want, and cross your fingers and good luck, and hopefully you get the school you want. However, the kids in the southeast part of town, we want to move them to the west side of town, and the kids from the west side of town, we want to move them to the southeast part of town.
So they're still moving. They're still moving children
right.
from all over San Francisco.
All over San Francisco.
Your kids could literally, a lot of times, sent all the way across town to the school.
To the furthest extreme. I know families in the Bayview whose children are at Presidio Middle, or Clarence Lilienthal, which is...
That's like a 45-minute bus,
that's the
right?
furthest from that part of town, which is ridiculous.
I hated going to school in the morning. The last thing I want to do is get up an hour earlier to be on the bus.
Exactly. And what if you have one of those students who don't want to get up early, and then you have to make that trek across town, and you need to be at work and things of that nature. So now you're not even a good employee at this point because you're coming in late.
So I guess it's not a change. It's still the same system. It's still based on, what is it based on now? It's not diversity, but still basically based on school choice, a different algorithm.
Well, it's based on you're poor, so we want to sit you next to kids of influence, and hopefully you can learn through osmosis.
Okay.
So it's exactly the same thing.
This is Johnny with JKW Political Consulting on SWOR Radio. Today we're talking with Omar Khalif. We're back, and so we're spending a lot of money on transportation, for this much transportation across the city, right?
Right. Half utilize buses.
Okay. How much are we spending on transportation? Do you have a number?
Well, I don't have a number for the overall system, but I know at one point rooftop was just $700,000 a year, and that was just to take the children from after school to their after school program and back to the yard.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's just one school.
So, I assume we want a neighborhood-based school system, because I went to school in my neighborhood.
Right.
And San Franciscans, the parents have been fighting for 20-something years for a neighborhood-based system. And I think the judge just said, this system they had, diversity, whatever the assignment system, has failed, because you look at a map of where the kids are underperforming, it's the same area.
Right. Well, not only that, if you look at the general map of where the kids come from who are underperforming, they're underperforming in every single school in the district.
Okay.
And so the district, I think, needs to do a better job with their product line and quality control.
And is it any more diverse than it was before?
It's more segregated than it was before.
It's more segregated.
It's more segregated.
So that because they focused on diversity, and the busing kids over to school.
Right.
So I guess what can we do now?
I think the best thing for us to do as a community is get together and fight for neighborhood schools, because it's about quality in education, not location in education. It's the quality and the equity that each school should be able to provide for those children.
Well, I think every neighborhood should have a great school, right?
Every neighborhood.
Have an excellent school.
Every school in every neighborhood, or every school that the school district currently governs should be a great school in every neighborhood.
You know, I was just listening to this radio show on NPR, and they were talking about how because of the funding cuts, a lot of these middle schools and upper schools they're getting cut. Their art programs are getting cut. Their sports programs are getting cut. Music programs, and the parents are the ones who have to step up and kind of take over that spot that's been gone. Help with their expertise, with some fundraising, and all that. And I would assume it's pretty hard to do that if your kids' school is all the way across town.
Well, if your kids' school is all the way across town, number one, if the needed resources have not been adequately provided by the school district, number two, and then you have parents who have fundraising mechanisms in place and apparatuses in place, and then you have families who are just barely trying to get by and survive here in the city and county of San Francisco. So what happens, even if you're on track to one of those good schools, when these parents are doing these fundraisers, well, some of the events are late at night. So what is the benefit for a child to be all the way across town? What's the parent engagement all the way across town?
I just don't see this as a system that works.
It's not a system that works.
All right. Hey, well, thank you, Omar. Thank you for being on the show. I'm sure we're going to have you back on real soon. This is an ongoing issue. This is Johnny with JKW Political Consulting with Omar Khalif. We will have him back. Thank you.
Thank you.